Myself, I'm an academic ecologist, and what I'm presenting now is something about mapping and mapping resources. What I'm concerned about is how we provide our baseline information for what we've got in terms of habitats on, in this case, in our campuses, for example. But we do have, within the UK, we do have a standardised system of mapping, Phase 1 Habitat Survey mapping, which has been devised by the Joint Nature Conservation Committee. And we at Brookes have provided I'll call it a toolkit, which actually makes the whole process very simple. But the mapping to provide baseline information about what we have, in terms of broad habitat categories and specific habitat categories. That's very, very important information to get before we start thinking about making changes. And in a wider context, it's used as sort of the baseline to the start of environmental impact assessment. It's the baseline for identifying EU Annex 1 habitats directives. Now, I don't think many universities will be in a privileged position to have those locations, but one or two actually do. But it's also very important in terms of identifying what we've got, thinking about what's important before we start making any changes. And it's also, in a wider context, it provides baseline information for biodiversity offsetting. So we have in the UK a standardised system which is used by environmental consultancies, often with limited success. Some are better than others. I'm not looking there at the and our wildlife organisations use it as well. So if we map our habitats on our campuses in an appropriate way, we can also contextualise what we've got in terms of the regional context as well, which is quite important. But Phase 1 habitat surveys, in theory, they're supposed to be quick. Rapid assessment tool for assessing our baseline. When you do it, it's slightly limited in terms of seasonality. How long it takes depends on the size of your sites and the level of detail required. And it's basically just a basic mapping tool, which is supposedly simple. But when we look at many ways that individuals actually do this, although we have a standard methodology, the quality that comes out is often very, very variable. Bits are missed. Maps are often inadequate. It's very time consuming. It involves time out in the field, surveying, faffing about with bits of paper, maybe GPS machines, etc. And then translating everything you've got onto maps back in the office afterwards. So it's a very, very time consuming process. So we at Oxford Brookes came up with what we think is a good solution to make things much more efficient. We've actually produced I'll call it a digital tool to do all the field work on a tablet, actually on an iPad, and from that we can create digital maps. We can code all our habitats to our standard classification systems. We can add target notes, detailed information, notes, photographs, etc. And we can export all that information at the touch of a button to GPS, to GIS systems, including ARC and QGIS. Text output of all the information, photographs which are spatially referenced to where the photographs are taken. And the advantage of this, what we quite like about this, is it also serves as an aid memoir to the surveyor that, hang on, there are these boxes, things that I need to think about as well. So instead of sort of doing the survey, coming back and thinking, oh, damn it, I've forgotten something, you've actually got the reminders there as well. So our system allows you to do a Phase 1 survey and even an extended Phase 1 survey. Right, so basically it's just a simple mapping tool. And it enables us to order, access information and get information quickly and succinctly and not make translation errors when we translate our field collected information into another format as well. Right, I was going to do video run-throughs, but I thought it's going to take too long to do that. I do have iPads that you can play with. Please don't take them away with you afterwards, so that you can actually get to grips with this. But we can map habitats. We start with a baseline map that you download before you go out in the field, and then when you're in the field, you're independent of any external signal. You draw polygons, classify those polygons, add species information whilst you're in the field, and then just click of the button, download that information. So for our species information, we've got information about the standard indicator species of all the JNCC habitats, and for that we collected information from the BSBI, NBN, added photographs, every single species on there is photographs, and it also has a distribution map, so you can get an ID. It doesn't serve as an ID guide, but if you're way off range, then maybe you may not be looking quite what you think you are. You can add your own species as well, extras. So we've got the standard species, we've got lists of species of importance and invasive species as well that you can add as well. You can add all the keyword information about usage, etc., and notes as well. Okay, and so here we've got just a rather sort of vague idea of a polygon that we just drawn, and you can edit these in the field as well. It produces all the information you need about areas, and eventually, when you've classified your habitat, it will produce the correct colour coding, if that's important to you, for the JNCC classification system as well. We think it's wonderful, right? Okay, so what we can provide, this is Oxford Brookes, CEC, help and support using this. We have a website with loads of help documents. Contact us if you want to use it or find out more about it. We can also offer GIS support in terms of any glitches of exporting our compatible files into different GIS systems. And we've used this at Oxford Brookes. Oxford Brookes, we've got sort of about 5 campuses. It depends how you decide to split them up, depending on roads and the like. And each of the sites have different compositions, and they vary from very urban to some to rural sites. And we've conducted, as part of our biodiversity strategy, we've done our baseline mapping of what we've got on our campuses already. And we did this using students. They went out, they did the mapping. Because it's sort of technology, they're really good at doing this. It's just completely intuitive, blah, 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 done, like that. Really good, quick, efficient, and they loved it. And it's a way of actually also encouraging them to get engaged in things like mapping. And it's useful for them to actually do the mapping as a real life project as part of their learning, rather than something which is rather abstract. So, for example, maps, we've got an urban site, all these red dots, target notes, so there's text associated with this as well. And this is one of our rural sites with coded habitats on there. Now, I'm not a salesman, okay? What I should emphasise is that we did spend a lot of time and investing in this, so we do need to recover the input, the investment input. We are selling this to consultants and commercial users, £349.99 a year. Apple gets some of that money, VAT comes off as well. We get some of that back to develop other things. But we also have educational pricing, and for use in teaching, we are trying to sell it sort of for one annual license for £135, and then unlimited licenses for all students. But we are open to negotiation. Okay, we want people to use it. So if you're interested, talk to us. So try it. Hopefully, maybe one or two of you might like to try it in the field. And we also have the ability to, so that you can actually get to grips with it and see whether it's useful or not. We can give any user 1 month's trial of the full version. So you have everything there free for 1 month. So please don't sort of use it and suddenly go out and do loads of commercial contracts. Okay, but we can't stop you from doing it. But if you think the price is too high, talk to us. We want people to use it. What we are also producing, because we're targeting users. Most students these days seem to have iPhones. Most people seem to have iPhones. When we originally produced it, we thought, putting on an iPhone 4 is going to be a bit like that. Because iPhones have got bigger, we've actually now produced an iPhone version. We are about 4 or 5 days away from having this completely ready. Okay, so we've got it available for tablets and for iPhones. And what the toolkit consists of is really, it's a modular system that has baseline mapping which you can add information to. We are really interested in trying to develop collaborations with other organisations and other users where we can use some of the functionality to put other things in as well. So, if you've got ideas about mapping and the like, we might be able to help you and to produce something which is really easy to use, gathers the information without having to write things down on bits of paper, and is actually fun for users, fun for students to use, and actually produces professional output at the end. Okay, so I think I am sort of at the end. I'm well within my time, I think. And I should thank Rowan Jones, who is our programmer, James, who's our CEC manager, and Rebecca Harker and Linda Kaiser, who helped with the development of this. It's been a sort of a genuine team effort. And I also want to thank our students who went through countless trial versions and found all the glitches. In terms of users, we've got about 100 commercial users. We've got about, I think, 6 or 7 universities using this as well in their teaching, and we haven't had any negative comments on the toolkit say this doesn't work. It would be nice if it did this as well, which is rather different to saying it doesn't work, it crashes. It doesn't. It's not perfect, but it works really nicely. So I'm sort of suggesting when you're going out, perhaps doing your basic mapping, we've got something here that will save you an enormous amount of time, produce high quality data, give you all the area information that you need, standard classifications, enabling you to contextualize what you've got on your campuses with what's around your campuses as well, and is really easy to use, and can then be used something where you can go out doing periodic surveys. You can identify what you've got and perhaps then target where you might then start focusing your improvement of biodiversity, recognizing whether you've got some areas which are perhaps valuable in their own right before you go out and change them. Okay, so there's flyers here if you want to find out more, but do try and use, if you want to have a play with it, that's the right word, do come and I've got some iPads, please come and use it and have a look. Okay.
Hey, thank you.